Avatar Fire and Ash is the newest installment in James Cameron's Avatar franchise, and it takes place right after the events of the last movie, Avatar The Way of Water. As the conflict between humans and Na'vi continues to get worse and worse, Neytiri and Jake stumble across a new terrifying group of Na'vi. The film stars Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, Trinity Bliss, Britton Dalton, Jack Champion, Bailey Bass, Kate Winslet, Stephen Lang, Una Champlin, David Thewlis, Eddie Falco, and Jermaine Clement. Of course, like the other two movies, this film is utter eye candy, from the world of Pandora to the many creatures that call it home, not just the Na'vi. And there are so many brilliant creature designs in this movie. We even get introduced to brand new creatures, which you will encounter throughout the film. We get introduced to a new group of Na'vi, like in the second movie. We got introduced to the water Na'vi. We are now getting introduced to some fire Na'vi, and they actually are the villains and or antagonists of this new movie. So there's a lot of fun to be had with the types of stuff that they do as characters. Of course, we still have Miles Cortich as the villain in this movie, and even the motion capture work. I want to get in and talk a little bit about that, because the motion capture work in this movie is great. It really brings life to these characters, even though the Na'vi are obviously CGI. The motion capture really helps them feel grounded in the world. And the actors did a great job of bringing these characters to life. On top of that, I think the characters themselves are quite well written, especially the villains. The villains are super well written. Of course, you have Varang, the leader of the Ash people, and then you have Miles Cortich, who is reborn in this Na'vi body. Just all around good writing and great actors to bring those characters to life. We, of course, got an awesome soundtrack by Simon Franklin, and this soundtrack is just amazing. Some awesome instrumental tracks in the movie, really bringing a lot of emotion to this film, as it is a deeply emotional film. It deals with heavy subject matter like grief and hate, so this soundtrack really pulls all the stops with making you feel those strong emotions when the film needs you to feel them. Something I also really quite like about this movie is how they further expand upon the Na'vi's connection to nature, to their goddess, and of course to the wildlife, as they can literally connect to wildlife. And this is really spelled out in the scene where Jake Sully talks about the great Leomnopteryx. And the reason why he doesn't pull out his status as Toruk Makto very often is because when he connects to that animal, he can feel that animal's primal drive for this endless bloodlust. It wants to kill so many people because it can gorge and feed for hours. And this is something that deeply bothers Jake when he talks about it. They also explore more of the religious side of the Na'vi and go into depth when it comes to the story of their goddess, Eywa, and that's a huge part of the new Na'vi villains that were introduced into this movie, and it goes really hand in hand with this movie's storyline. So I can't really talk too much about what they do with Eywa in this movie, but it is still really cool. Even the dynamics with some of the characters, like Jake and Neytiri, now having this family. Of course, they disagree on some things, and I really like that dynamic between them. There's obviously the dynamic between Miles Cordage and Jake Sully himself, as they are rivals. They want to fight each other. Not so much Jake, but definitely Miles wants to ruthlessly kill Jake and is willing to stop at nothing to do it. However, the movie showcases that they can work together if the situation calls it. And there's just so much more to talk about. Avatar movies, at least to me, have always been really deep. They aren't just a movie that has some sort of face value, straight story. There are depths and layers to these films, and I think that this new film is much like the other two. It's deep, it has an emotional story for the characters, it's grounded despite being on an alien world. With that being said, let me know what you guys thought about the new Avatar Fire and Ash movie. And with that, hope you guys enjoyed. Do take care. Have a great night. And I'll see you in the next video.